My dear mother-in-law, it all started with me and a few of the disciples. We were eating. I know with me that isn't unusual. We're hungry, so hungry that we hadn't bothered to wash our hands. Yes, I know that we should have done, that this was anything but good practice, and we were caught, and by the Pharisees of all people. The Pharisees challenged Jesus, telling him that some of us were eating without cleaning our hands in the way the Jewish law said we should. I know the Pharisees are important leaders, the guardians of our religion, making sure that we keep all the different rules and laws that set us apart of Jews and help us be the distinctive people we are. But sometimes they just seem to concentrate on the rules just a bit too much. Jesus seemed to pick up on this. His response was about how they valued such rules and regulations far more than the real purpose behind them. It was as though for the Pharisees, being a good Jew was about just keeping the rules, and for Jesus, a good Jew was one who understood the purpose of these rules in their hearts. When Jesus had finished talking to the Pharisees, he addressed the whole crowd gathered around him. He said, "Nothing outside a person can defile them by going into them. Rather, it is what comes out of a person that defiles them." My initial thought that was Jesus must be talking about when we eat something, the waste comes out of us. I don't mean to be indelicate, but you know what I mean. Yet something told me this was too simple, and Jesus was getting at something else, but I don't know what. Anyway, we came back, and once in the house, we asked Jesus what he meant. His look said it all. We'd missed the point again. Then he explained. I've grown up knowing the food laws, how eating things like pork and shellfish makes us unclean. It's one of the big things that sets us apart from the Gentiles. And I know the stories of Jews killed because they refused to eat pork, or others being forced to eat it. Now Jesus was declaring that it is what comes out of a person that makes them unclean, rather than what goes into them. It is our actions that make us clean or unclean, what we think and say and do, connected with our heart and mind, that makes a difference. To be a good Jew, Jesus is saying, is not about keeping the laws and following traditions. It's much deeper than that. These are just surface things. He isn't saying the food or the other laws are wrong, but more they're pointing to something deeper. What really makes a difference is the attitude of our heart. If that is so, it would mean that the Gentiles who don't follow our food laws, people who eat pork and other clean foods, could be part of God's kingdom. No wonder Jesus didn't say that straight to the Pharisees and waited until it was just us together with him. This is radical. It turns the Jewish law around and directly challenges the Pharisees. The Pharisees talk only about those who keep the Jewish laws and are accepted, whilst others, especially the poor, the outcasts, and those who have a disability, are rejected. Yet Jesus is showing a totally different type of kingdom, one where the poor and the weak, the outcasts, and even women are valued. Jesus is saying that we need to show in all that we do that we're disciples of God's kingdom. When I say or do things that are wrong, when I let such thoughts and actions take me over, that is what makes me unclean. I still need to think through more carefully, but I think what Jesus is saying is that each time we lie or cheat or steal, engage in sexual immorality or other negative behaviour, it is like releasing poison inside us, which makes us unclean. Can you imagine the look on the Pharisees' face if Jesus said that to them? He wouldn't, though. Anyway, I must go. Jesus is wanting to move on. Please don't worry about me. I've no plans to eat oysters or have a bacon roll yet. I can't imagine that anything would be nicer, though, than what you cook. Love, Peter.